Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Since our last episode where we talked about Xi Jinping possibly losing power, more very unusual things have happened. Today we'll continue to discuss these events. We will also look back at three top leaders in CCP history who lost power. We will see how long it took from when they really lost power to when it was officially announced, and what the process was like. This might help us understand today's situation. Before we start today's discussion, I want to introduce a product from my new Jennifer's store, WiseQuest eye patches. They are very helpful for people like me who use their eyes very much. They are also very easy to use. Let's watch a short video.
Introducing the QuestWise Soothing Herbal Eye Patches. It comes with 30 pairs and can be used to help combat tired and strained eyes. The natural herbal formula provides a cooling, minty, and refreshing effect that stimulates natural tears and awakens your tired eyes. Placing the eye patches around your eyes helps to reduce dryness and massages acupuncture points. They can be worn while reading, studying, using electronics, and provide hours of long-lasting relief.
See, it's really very simple. I'll put a purchase link in the description or comments. I welcome you to try them and share your feedback. Now, let's move to today's topic. First, as of today, Xi Jinping has not appeared in public for 14 days straight. Of course, Xi Jinping has disappeared for 2 weeks before. For example, in September 2012, before the 18th Party Congress, Xi was not yet the party general secretary. It was said he was absent then because he was working in private to fully take control of the military government and party power. He didn't want to be like his two predecessors who only had incomplete power. Another example is last August. He was absent for 3 weeks. From a scar on his head, many believed he had a minor brain surgery, possibly related to a stroke. But in those cases, he disappeared first, and then rumors and guesses started. This time, rumors about him losing power came first. These rumors are everywhere, yet he still hasn't appeared for 2 weeks. That's very unusual. Second, the monthly Politburo meeting didn't happen. Normally, the CCP Politburo holds a meeting at the end of each month. There are rarely exceptions. But May has ended 3 days ago, and there's no report of a Politburo meeting. At the same time, rumors are flying that the Politburo held an expanded meeting in mid-May to remove Xi. There are even multiple versions online of speeches by party elders at this meeting, all attacking Xi. I don't fully believe these speeches are real, but with no Politburo meeting, these rumors have room to grow. Third, the party's most important mouthpiece, People's Daily, is reported in a completely unusual way. Since Xi's last appearance in Henan on May 20th, it has been 14 days with no news of him appearing in public. Until June 1st, People's Daily front page still had some old speeches by Xi or messages like him sending congratulations to some event. Starting 2 days ago, on June 2nd, Not only Xi, but all other party leaders disappeared from the front page of People's Daily. I'll read you the headlines from the last 2 days front page. On June the 2nd, the 6 headlines on the front page were: why does China as a developing country still insist on carbon reduction? New development concepts lead Bijie to cross the heavy mountains. Multiple efforts and momentum to Zhengzhou's automobile industry. Photo report. Since this year, sales from the trade-in of consumer goods have exceeded 1 trillion yuan, leveraging policy tailwinds to create a better life. So today, that's June 3rd, the front page headlines are: Guangxi continues to expand high-level opening up, striving to lead decisive winning the battle of the 14th five-year plan. What the people hope for is what we must do, persistently implementing the spirit of the Central Eight provisions. Liaison promotes the integrated development of culture, sports, and tourism. 3 topics on revitalization. Software business revenue in the first 4 months grew by 10% year-on-year. Photo report. Comrade Xi Jinping has passed away. You can see not only is Xi gone, but all other party members are gone too. There is only one piece of news about former vice chairman of the military commission Xi Jinping passing away. Also on May 30th, the People's Liberation Army Daily published an article titled "Public Power Belongs to the Public and Must Serve the Public." This is clearly criticizing Xi Jinping without naming him. The article says, the higher the position and the greater the power, the more party members must fear and strictly discipline themselves. Power is a double-edged sword. Used well, it benefits the people. Used poorly, it harms the people and oneself. So this is a very clear criticism of Xi Jinping. This article was also reprinted by many other party media outlets. In fact, 3 days before the official announcement of Xi Jinping's death, I already shared the news of his passing. According to former Chinese journalist Zhao Lanjian, Xi Jinping was scared to death due to days of intense pressure. It's worth noting that Xi Jinping and Xi Jinping had a connection in Fuzhou, Fujian province. Some say they were as close as family. After Xi Jinping came to power, Xi Jinping was a key figure in Xi's military reforms and purges. With rumors of Xi losing power spreading and many of Xi's military allies facing trouble, Xi Jinping's sudden death raises questions about a possible connection. From 1988 to 1993, Xi Jinping served 5 years in the Air Force 8th Army in Fuzhou, Fujian. During that time, Xi Jinping was the party secretary of Ningde Prefecture and the first secretary of the Ningde Military Sub-District from 1988 to 1990. Then, from 1990 to 1996, he was the party secretary of Fuzhou and the first secretary of the Fuzhou Military Sub-District. So, Xi Jinping and Xi Jinping overlapped in Fuzhou for 3 years. This photo was taken on April 20th, 2016. The person in the red circle behind Xi Jinping is Xi Jinping. At that time, Xi was leading a new Central Military Commission to inspect the Joint Operation Command Center. Qiliang was the vice chairman of the CCP's Central Military Commission. Some commentators say that with Xi Jinping absent for many days, Qiliang's sudden death, announced 5 days after he passed away, and the vague official statement of dying due to illness without a clear cause must hide something unknown. Observers have noticed that while Xi Jinping's whereabouts are unclear, some provincial level officials, including the director of the Hong Kong Liaison office, have been quietly replaced. For example, on May 30th, the CCP's Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security suddenly announced the removal of Zeng Yanxiong from his post as director of the central government's Liaison office in Hong Kong. This sparked a lot of gaze. Some say it's related to Hong Kong's Chong Kong Group planning to sell the Panama ports to the U.S. company Blackstone. Others say it's connected to Wang Yang, the former chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. Right now, rumors about who will replace Xi Jinping are everywhere. The latest version says 68-year-old Wang Yang will take over as the party's general secretary. Wang Yang is seen as a relatively open-minded figure in the party. In 2011, he handled the famous Wukan village incident in Guangdong with a gentle approach. At that time, Wukan villagers clashed with village officials over land uses and demanded democratic election for village leaders. Zeng Yanxiong, then party secretary of Shanwei City in Guangdong, sent armed police to suppress the villagers. They even beat a farmer leader to death in custody. This sparked a massive protest by thousands of villagers. The villagers wanted foreign media to report the issue. Zeng Yanxiong said, "If you trust foreign media, pigs can climb trees." But Wang Yang, who was the party secretary of Guangdong at the time, handled the incident gently. The Wukan villagers were later allowed to vote for their village committee. This event got wide coverage from international media. However, after Xi Jinping came to power in 2012, he overturned Wukan's democratic elections in 2016. The elected village leader was arrested and sentenced, and many others were detained. Because of this history, some now believe Zeng Yanxiong's removal is tied to Wang Yang's possible rise to power. Several other provincial-level officials have also been quietly replaced recently due to time limits and because most people aren't familiar with these officials. I won't list them here. In our last episode, we talked about Xi Jinping possibly losing power. A viewer asked, if he's already lost power, why could he still visit Russia? That's a great question. Today, we'll see if we can find some insights by looking at the history of 3 top party leaders who were removed. First, let's look at Guofeng, Mao Zedong's successor. His removal took 3 years to finish. After Mao died, he left a note saying, "With you in charge, I'm at ease." This was used to handle power to Hua Guofeng. This is a very famous propaganda painting in China in the late 1970s titled, "With You in Charge, I Am at Ease." It showed Mao passing power to Hua Guofeng. In reality, this scene was made up. On October 6, 1976, less than a month after Mao's death, Hua Guofeng worked with other top party officials to arrest the so-called Gang of Four, including Mao's widow Jiang Qin. That night, he became the party's top leader, ending the 10-year Cultural Revolution. However, as Mao's successor, he put forward the two whatevers slogan. Whatever decision Chairman Mao made, we will firmly uphold. Whatever instructions Chairman Mao gave, we will always follow. But at that time, China's economy was on the brink of collapse. The so-called reformers, led by Deng Xiaoping, published an article in Guangming Daily on May 11, 1978, titled, "Practice is the only standard to test truth." This sparked a nationwide debate on the standard of truth, which was the start of rejecting Hua Guofeng's two whatevers. In December that year, at the third plenary session of the 11th Central Committee, the party criticized the two whatevers. And then in September 1980, Hua Guofeng resigned as premier of the State Council due to the two whatever issue. The next year, he resigned as chairman of the Central Committee and chairman of the Military Commission. So it took 3 years for Hua Guofeng to fully exit China's political stage. Another top party leader who was removed was Hu Yaobang. After Hu Yaobang became General Secretary in 1982, he overturned many unjust cases from the Cultural Revolution. He took a gentle and open stance toward student movements calling for democracy. But in the party's eyes, he made the mistake of rightist liberalization, straying from the party's basic line. From January 10th to 15th, 1987, during a so-called intra-party democratic life meeting, he was forced to self-criticize, admit his mistakes, and face criticism and scolding from others. After 7 days of continuous criticism, the Politburo held an expanded meeting on January 16th. They approved Hu Yaobang's resignation by a show of hands. In fact, he was forced by Deng Xiaoping to voluntarily resign as General Secretary of the Central Committee. But his resignation wasn't confirmed until 9 months later at the 7th plenary session on October 20th, 1987. So even though Hu Yaobang lost power in general, he still held the title of General Secretary. He remained quite active during that time, and outsiders didn't know what had happened until he officially stepped down. Now let's look at Zhao Ziyang's removal process. At the 13th Party Congress in November 1987, Zhao Ziyang, chosen by Deng Xiaoping, became General Secretary. Zhao Ziyang was also an open-minded figure in the party. During his term, he started and led reforms that helped China's economy grow. But during the 1989 student movement, he sympathized with the students. The party saw this as a serious mistake. On May 17th, the Politburo Standing Committee held a meeting and attacked Zhao Ziyang. Deng Xiaoping, who controlled the military as chairman of the Military Commission, led this meeting. Zhao Ziyang was effectively kicked out of the Politburo. But on May 19th, the party still sent Zhao Ziyang to Tiananmen Square to speak as General Secretary with a megaphone. This photo was taken that day. Please note the young man behind him, that's Wen Jiabao, who later became China's premier. So all three of these top party leaders went through a period of time, long or short, between actually losing power and the official announcement. To maintain its rule, the party will always try to keep up a false image of stability and unity on the surface. So, is Xi Jinping's current situation already out of his control? Perhaps we will find out in the near future. Well, that's all for today. Once again, please consider supporting me by purchasing the wonderful products at Jennifer's store at jenniferzeng.com, or visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com. jenniferzengblog.com to sign up for a membership or make a donation. Your support makes it possible for me to continue telling the inconvenient truths. Thank you, and see you next time.